that fierce pick. And then the counterpoint will be the Infreak's taking blue side. But I imagine maybe 90+%. Early to say, but 90+% of our side selection scenarios might just end up going like this.
I'm very curious as well, coming into the new year and with all the changes, how much does our meta really change right away? Because we saw even, you know, Team Mid tryharding over at the season opener, and they were kind of just going for comps that looked very much like the games we were playing last year or years before.
You see, Brendan, this is the LCK. And in the LCK, some things never change as you see the Azir ban come through.
Yeah.
Some things are just ironclad. But to be fair, playing into BDD, the Azir ban makes sense. Jayce ban as well. That was something that kind of came in after Worlds, but before the new season, we saw a lot of top laners getting changes to make them viable in the jungle. You know, Jayce, Ambessa, Malphite, Aatrox all got buffs to make them playable in the jungle. So even though you'd expect Jayce ban coming through is towards top lane, probably more likely to be a jungle ban with that one coming out.
We also have the Sylas ban here, kind of targeting Clozer, I would imagine.
But also that, you know, we've seen a lot of Sylas bans when you want to prioritize Malphite. So we are just going to get that first pick Malphite. Expect to see it in the jungle. And with the Sylas taken away, obviously Sylas into Malphite is phenomenal because he stacks armor, but also just stealing that ult. One of the best ults in the game. Give it AP behind it as well, and you're extremely strong.
Yeah, makes sense. We did see Zaheen there for just a moment. And certainly the Rumble was pretty popular all of last year, and also even at the season opener. We also have Wukong and Rumble Wukong.
Rumble Wukong, wow.
I don't think we've ever seen that combo off.
Interesting.
This is our first time.
Yeah, we obviously talked a ton about Sundered Sky. It did get changed a little bit. The crit got reduced, so it's not a full crit anymore, but it's still Sundered Sky. Definitely feels like the DN SOOPers going for a bit of the old, and KT Rolster going for a bit of the new. Yunara coming in, obviously a pick that we did see before, but really benefited the new Fiend Hunter Bolts, an item we've seen played a lot with her. And Taliyah coming in for BDD, and DN SOOPers, they are fully committed. This is what we were playing last year.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Ahri and all the time, as it always does. So definitely has been a very big comfort pick for him. So not necessarily the most new thing there, but excited to see the Malphite in action here in Pro, as the Ambessa going to be immediately banned away here.
Yeah, I think in this situation, DuDu's obviously taking that Rumble, trying to give him as good a matchup as possible and give him strength there. Also, finding picks that can synergize with the Wukong. Rakan is something, Rakan Wukong has been terrifyingly strong, and playing into the Yunara would be good. That being said, Rakan into Taliyah, not the most fun matchup, but we have kind of seen some of those compositions, the broom compositions, where you have so many dashes, you just clean up the rocks, could have ended up like that, but Nautilus then comes through as a ban. Surprisingly, haven't seen any look-ins towards Braum. We've seen kind of in the Champions queue, Braum being like perma-banned because how much he synergizes with the new support item, the Bandle Pipe. So not really a look-in at all. Maybe team's not super comfortable blinding it. But the Corki is going to come through the DN SOOPers, a pick that Deokdam had a lot of success on last year, which I feel like for the DN SOOP draft, last year, that's what we've been saying. A lot of last year looks from what they've picked up.
Really no surprises at all from them, kind of just, you know, looking at their old homework and bringing it back in. Alistar, looks like he's going to get a look here for Pollu. Was always a strong pick for Pollu, and it's going alongside of the Yunara. Definitely good for trying to disengage against Ahri and Wukong, especially as Cassante just going to be the pick here into the Rumble.
Yeah, so now with 3 tanks and 2 damage threats, a lot of emphasis really put onto aiming and BDD. Aiming in particular, you are the hyper carry in this composition. If you get exploded, if you go down, you're really going to be running out of damage quite quickly, potentially, in this composition. So end up going for the Pantheon support, something we did see show up. Often something that could be picked later in Fearless. You know, I remember Delight coming out with this when things were banned away, but going for it very early on. And wanting to have some of that early pressure. But I think maybe emphasizing the fact that they want to shut down aiming. If he falls behind in this game, KT's composition is going to struggle a bit in terms of damage. But that being said, they have an insane front line, an insane level of engage, and a hyper carry who can really take over games if she's allowed to fight freely.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this, to be honest, I do feel like KT Rolster, they've gone for a comp we've seen many times in the past in terms of its identity, you know, where you kind of have the hyper carry and a lot of protection for it, but with a little bit of new sprinkled in with the jungle Malphite. Whereas on the side of DN Supers, it kind of just feels like, you know, 2025 or even 2024. Like, you know, I don't know what year their comp is from, but we've seen it so many times.
Every year.
It doesn't really inspire a lot of interest, let's say. It can definitely work, right? The comp was strong for a very long time for a reason, but it does feel like KT have kind of done their homework a little bit more.
There's something to be said that, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it does feel like, is this going to give them the power they need in this new patch? You know, I think Corki definitely being solid. We'll see.
We'll see. And with that, we have the first match and the first game here as the minions have spawned. And, you know, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So the minions do spawn much quicker now if you haven't played at all or haven't looked at the changes.
Yeah, less time for level 1 shenanigans. I've definitely been caught out by this. You know, you're trying to do like a little cheeky invade. And you're like, I'm late to lane. I'm really late to lane. Oh, we've missed waves. Pace of the game much faster at the start, which is kind of what was talked about in the space. We were saying the game feels faster, even if the game time in solo queue actually seems to be longer overall. Things are happening faster. You know, as the game time progresses, we have faster minion waves. Your first wave is sooner, so it feels a bit more non-stop, even if the overall time of the game is a bit longer. You can see this early pressure coming out from the DN Supers bot lane. Doing a really good job so far.
Yeah, not a big surprise. That was kind of a surprise. BDD took a turret shot to the face. Not sure exactly how he calculated that one. But yeah, I mean, Pantheon's poke at level 1 is going to be much better than the Alistar. And of course, Corki can be very obnoxious, especially into level 1. As much pressure as possible.
Yunara's laning as well. It's very much about stacking up your passive and empowering your autos. That's how you can effectively trade. If you can't touch the wave, you can't trade effectively, especially into a Corki with such good burst trades. So Life and Deokdam really putting the pain on so far in this 2v2, and Aiming and Pollu just kind of on the back foot. Also to note, Life has gone for Ignite into Pollu's heal, so that heal going to have a lot less effectiveness if it's timed right and you get the Ignite down first. We often see the heal burn early to try to mitigate trade pressure, but if you can go for an engage, get the Ignite down, reduce that healing, the all-in pressure is going to be very severe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty annoying and something for them to deal with. Trying to get that first plate, which you can get very quickly on this patch.
That's another thing to mention. So visually, this looks very different to what we had before, but it's actually just before more resistances were gained as the tower got lower. Now they've just traded the resistances for health. So visually, you can see clearly how tanky each plate is, but they're just as tanky as they were before. It's just a better visual indicator that the further you get down the tower, the tankier the plates were anyway. But you are right, it's very easy to get that first plate, especially if the crystalline overgrowth has started to stack up.
Yeah, Pyosik going to be spotted here. The jungler's not really getting into too much just yet, but
this is rough.
We do have the setup here for Aiming. Pollu is going to get back on time, it looks like, but Aiming is very low. He's got heal, barrier, and flash. And can he escape this gank? This dive is the question. Stun comes in, the damage is there from Deokdam, and that is going to be first blood going over to Pyosik. Deokdam taking a lot of damage, but he gets out with the Valkyrie, and Pollu not able to keep them around for very long, as no seismic shove even going to be utilized here by BDD, and that's a clean dive.
And you get massive value from this, because not only do you get the kill, you get those two summoners in the barrier and the heal, but BDD teleports down, and something with the role quest is that you get way more value for doing things in your own lane, you know, whether you're CSing or just spending time in your own lane. So BDD kind of wasting his TP and time coming down to the bot lane. The heal is early, because they know the enemy team has Ignite, but with that low HP, there's just not enough to be done, and Deokdam has the aggro, just slides out again, and it means those two members in Pyosik and Life who are deeper, they don't even end up low on HP, so there's really no recourse for KT.
Yeah, and Pollu's just there trying his best to keep them around for BDD, but he only has one combo as a level 2 Alistar, so couldn't even add an extra stun on top of that. So just a very nice plan there from the side of the SOOPers to get them started and to really make things rough for Aiming here early on in this game, and to hopefully delay his quest as well. By getting him out of lane, not allowing him to CS as much, etc. As this Pantheon pick looking pretty good so far as the, do we call it the R5? We don't, because the SOOPers are on the blue side. But as the last pick, in this case, the B5, with our new first selection setup here, has been working well for them. As now, a little bit of a flash coming in, the wall's coming down. Life does not have his own flash, as it is going to be a dodge on the seismic shove, but Life stuck between the wall and the rest of KT, not able to get away, and that's a kill for KT.
Bit too many members, bit too much damage, and that Pantheon is very squishy after his E has gone down to mitigate the damage. So good setup there from KT. VDD going for a decent roam. Is able to come out successful. So you see here, able to find the wall to cut them off, and knowing that there's no flash, Pollu goes for the flash pulverize into headbutt. And they try to go for 2 there, but Deokdam with a nice little dodge away. He still had sums after as well. So he was fairly comfortable, regardless of how that seemed a little bit close.
Yep, he was fine. His lane partner, not so much. We did just see DuDu have to flash in the live cam that we had there during that replay. So perfect with this Cassante as the counter pick for the Rumble, at least in terms of pick order. Working pretty well for him so far. Picked the early Megatron cloak up.
And despite that early pressure we saw, aiming is still pretty close in terms of farm, and they have 1 assist each. You know, takedowns contribute towards the quest. Farm,
yeah, right as the Pantheon leaves here, a bit of a trade, nicely done. Cuzz, though, very low on mana. Trying to do the dragon by himself will be denied.
A little risky, pre-6 especially from the Malphite, so he will be forced away. But as I was saying, you know, the farm, so each quest for the laners, farm contributes towards your quest, but for bot lane it's even more so. You get extra weighting, so the fact that aiming's roughly keeping up, despite the early pressure, is really positive for KT. Dragon will be picked up there by the DN SOOPers, and Cuzz is forced away. But honestly, you know, with Malphite, you just want to be hitting your level 6, which has now been achieved by Cuzz. So that ult being available, a massive point of power for him.
Yeah, it's certainly going to help him out quite a bit, as Perfect coming down, making sure that this Scuttle Crab is going to go over to his jungler eventually. Yeah, comes with the smite there. And yeah, just looking good in the top lane for Perfect. The mid lane has been very even with BDD roaming a couple of times, once with the teleport, once with the wall, and still able to maintain a slight CS lead here.
Yeah, haven't seen any quests come through yet. You can see with the new UI at the top, just below the team names, it has all the quests. We saw this when we had the opening...
Season opener?
Season opener, yeah.
Season opening event.
Season opening event.
SOE.
Yes, thank you, Brendan.
Yeah.
But whenever any of the quests
but you were.
Whenever any of the quests are completed, it will notify you there. So easy to keep tabs on. But so far, no one has quite completed theirs. Junglers still got a fair few more camps to go.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think some of them you like immediately get that big spike. Some of them takes a bit longer to really feel the rewards.
See, the first completed item is going to be the Zeke's Herald's here for Cuzz.
Zeke's Convergence?
Yes, Convergence, sorry.
Yeah.
Living in the past. And,
they changed this item.
They did. It used to be kind of a joke between us, but now...
Well, they added ultimate haste to it, importantly. And he's also gone the domination tree. So sometimes we see Malphite popular in solo queue, you go press the attack. But he's gone electrocute, which, I mean, essentially it's 3 hits, right? Similar. But it does mean he'll undoubtedly have ultimate hunter. You get the ultimate haste from the Zeke's as well. His ult's going to be in a pretty low cooldown. Not, like, crazy low, like you're going to use it twice in a fight, but definitely means he'll have it more freely available. But it also means that Frost Storm, immediately proccing after you ult, going to be a lot of damage represented.
Yeah, definitely feels good on a champion like Malphite. One that's certainly very reliable, or very much relies on his ult, I should say.
Yeah.
And going to be seeing that on probably more junglers as we do get them across, especially
and it's also
Fearless.
Just, you know, players in different roles abusing cheap support items.
Yep.
You know, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yep. As Pyosik's doing the grubs here, we do have Cuzz and BDD on the way. The charm's going to miss already, so I'm not sure how much longer Pyosik can stick around. as little smite did come in, as there is the engage. Pyosik going in on a BDD, though, who is going to flash the wall. Not going to get away, though, as Pyosik picks up that first kill. And now Cuzz in a lot of trouble. Double kill for Pyosik. Already up to 3 kills on this Wukong in this game. And the fight goes very much awry for KT. The SOOPers are on top.
This is one thing, right? It was a first pick Malphite, and I honestly feel like with the champions on the DN SOOPers, there's not that many champs that are easy to connect with, and look how well Pyosik plays this. As soon as the ult comes in, he dashes forward onto BDD. Yes, the Unraveled Earth stuns him, but it doesn't matter because he has Clozer there for the follow-up. They delete the Taliyah. Cuzz doesn't have the damage to even get a single kill without that Taliyah follow-up, and Perfect, who joined late, he just has to walk away.
Yeah, it felt like a little bit rushed from the side of KT. They're like, okay, we can blow up one target. We've got Malphite Taliyah. We have, you know, essentially what should be very reliable CC to set up the Taliyah. But as you mentioned, it was totally dodged by the Wukong. And so you don't have a safe Taliyah. You don't have the Taliyah damage on top. And and they didn't have the Cassante either. It was like they went way too early. So I think KT very overconfident there.
They were just expecting Pyosik to crumble. And he really stepped up there. Now 3-0 and the Wukong is a great spot to be in. And it is concerning because if you start to get a lot of Fed members in the DN SOOPers and KT is just a lot of tanks, aiming really needs to not only thrive but survive in these fights because, you know, Cuzz, if he ults Pyosik, he's not going to be able to 100-0 him later in the game. And really, Deokdam's also a bit of a trickier target to pin down with that Valkyrie, so...
We got the ult this time on a Pyosik, who is trying to go forward, actually, but the CC chain is very much going to deny that, as Pollu does pick up the kill, unfortunately, but still, things looking good in the fight here for the side of KT. The Charm is going to miss on the wall. BDD totally fine. Bit of damage comes in, gets the knockup back into Pollu, who picks up the second kill. Kind of unfortunate there, but still, KT pick up 2 kills in the trade.
Yeah, not ideal for the gold locations, but still great plays coming out from KT. The setups there, the CC, the bounce house with the follow-up from BDD allows them to equalize in terms of the overall kill score. Not going to go for anything more now. I remember with Home Guards, very quick for the DN SOOPers to get back on the map. We do start having the support quests coming in for both teams. Top quest completed for DuDu right now. And we'll see. This one's starting off contesting Vision here. And Pyosik down flash at this point. And then here he W'd in. And that's the point Cuzz knows, right. You don't have flash from the previous fight. You just W'd. Now I know I can hit you 100%. And again, it's unfortunate Pollu got the gold for that one. Yeah. But still a pretty big pickup. For the team overall.
Yeah, the gold for both of them. As you can see, that Cuzz nearly got his ult back. So at the end of the day, you know, he used it in the last fight. Hasn't really gotten to any skirmishes since then.
I remember if this is so it's early. He's only like a level 6 ultimate, not like a level 11 ultimate. And he doesn't have like full ultimate hunter stacks yet.
Yeah, it's gonna get pretty insane. As Deokdam taking a bunch of damage, aiming. Looking good there. Pollu thinking about it, but don't know exactly where life is. Well, now they seem to have an idea with that ward coming out. And yeah, you were talking about the quests. 4 out of 5 already done here for the DN SOOPers, whereas KT only have that support quest done so far, so...
I saw the icon above aiming. I thought his was done, but it appears not.
Maybe it's a little bit delayed. We'll have to wait and see here on the new patch. A lot of changes. So we'll try to get confirmation of that for you guys.
I mean, his boots are still in his inventory, so I guess not. I don't know.
Maybe you're just seeing things off.
Yeah, still coming to terms, a lot of new changes. What we can say is DN SOOPers have a lot of quests done. Although some of them aren't really benefiting. Like, Clozer's finished his quest, but he's still got the regular boots. So not fully benefiting from that yet.
Yeah. We don't have any big smite fights happening at this point in the game either, so the fact that Pyosik got there a little bit earlier, not going to be the biggest of deals, although that extra movement speed is quite nice. You know, you're farming the jungle much faster, you're getting around everywhere much faster, so maybe it can help with a little bit of tempo.
The fact that, you know, we see a lot of junglers going the blue smite plus the percentage movement speed that you get just means you're zooming around the map. Hard to pin down as well, unless you're really out of position. Movement speed, definitely a stat I put a lot of stock in.
Yeah, it's a good one. We do have Infernal Rifts, Infernal Soul for this game, so 2 dragons already going over to DNS, and KT will look to try to stack those, especially with the couple more kills going their way. They've been able to make it a bit more even, and maybe they can fight in the next big team fight over there. Still looking for more quests of theirs to be done, as it's still... Okay, there's the one for aiming. Just finished it.
Okay, now okay.
All right, now they're coming in.
I was seeing things. That's what we've confirmed.
You were seeing things. Not the first time. And Deokdam hasn't finished his, so kind of the odd one out here for the side of DNS, and BDD out of the lane for quite a while, and did die in one of those fights. Now we got a one-on-one here, as DuDu gonna be forced to flash again.
Wait, okay, you're gonna say that I was definitely seeing things. I definitely saw Deokdam have the icon above his head, 100%.
All right, was Ox seeing things?
And his boots are also in the side slot, right? Am I going crazy? I might be going crazy.
Let's take a look.
I need the scoreboard to come back up.
Yeah.
I need the scoreboard to come back up. This is.
You definitely weren't crazy before. Oh, we got a little gank coming in. BD. He's just gonna flash away from that one.
Okay, flash burnt, nice.
Yeah.
I feel like the Pantheon, not super high value, so it's kind of okay. Now KT have all their quests.
And Ox definitely saw that Deokdam's was done. And, you know, he's getting engaged on pretty quickly here underneath the turret as he gets stunned once again. The damage coming out from the Malphite, and the Zeke's Cuzz just going on in. At least he does get the kill, but eventually does go down as Pollu in a bunch of trouble himself.
Nice.
Can't get away from Clozer. Ahri very comfortable on this champ, and so DNS able to convert very well on that play.
Okay, I assume... from the fact that we've retained
a little bit of...
I'm not crazy, Brendan.
He's not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
We don't have, like, full confirmation, but we'll have to wait and see. Nice little knockback there, but Clozer's just
I just want you to say I'm not crazy, Brendan.
I can neither confirm or deny that, based on my experiences with
I think at this point in the game, I'm going to assume that everyone has completed a quest, right? We can see in the mid lane, tier 3 boots, we know the junglers have. The bot laners, the boots have vanished. The supports have done theirs. The top laners, who cares about top lane anyway? Let's be real.
I mean, they either have it or they don't. It's 50-50. It doesn't really...
They definitely will have by this point. They definitely will have. So that's, you know, when we're at that point where it's like, oh, they could have or they could not, it's very close.
Yeah.
At this point, they definitely do. This was a lot committed on the Deokdam, and there was some nice peel from Pyosik. That kind of meant Cuzz had to die. And then there was some decent cleanup in return, right? The Ahri getting the ult value just to chase down the Alistar. So a lot committed, and even if they got the kill, they weren't really getting out, but weren't really able to do much on the back of it. And no, but he's done his quest. Look, it's in the extra slot. He's done his quest.
Okay, well,
it's lying to me.
It is lying.
I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy
or at least
anymore.
Yeah. It's completed.
Yeah, it's completed. You got the confirmation.
If he hadn't completed it at 1730, he'd have other issues. Let's be real.
He'd be very far behind in gold. Now he is still behind in gold by 600. But the rest of the team is doing very well.
Oh, it's updated. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
There we go. Nice. It's day one. You know.
It's day one.
We're learning.
It's good.
We're growing.
We are. Yeah. And we'll see which one of these teams is going to grow their stack of dragons. And KT don't really have a stack just yet, but they're hoping to get one here on this Infernal with the Infernal Soul coming in. Does feel like both of these teams vying pretty heavily for this dragon. Don't want to give DNS Soul Point this early on. And apparently KT activated Coach Voice. We just got that update here. So you can actually see that in the bottom left corner as DuDu in a lot of trouble. He's not been doing well in this one as now the fight is bringing up. Pollu's already down, but look at that. The 80 carry of DNS is gone, but BDD in the thick of it. He's going to go down, but aiming still untouched. Only has Cuzz as a front line, and immediately they turn onto him, and aiming goes down. Pyosik and Clozer putting 2-2 together and just looking amazing here so far in these team fights. KT took a big fight to DNS and they lost it big time. By the way, DuDu also won the 1v1.
Yeah.
Top lane, it's an ace at 19 minutes into the game.
Looks like the coach voice didn't really help out in that situation.
Not the best timing, no.
Yeah. Big win for the DN SOOPers, honestly. Coming out huge in that one. Massive team fight winning the bot side as well as getting that solo kill top lane. And it was a very sporadic fight here. I think, you know, the engage starts to come in. and they do find Deokdam early on, but it's just the follow-up once you start getting the resets, because you're trading members, resets are coming in for Clozer, your only damage threat is aiming, the stun from Live comes in to set them up, and again, even without the Corki, you still have so much damage in this composition, and here we're seeing this 1v1 on the top side. Oh, the equalizer value is so huge, he's just sitting on it, he's sitting on it!
I mean, if he hits the Q, I guess he wins, but eventually he doesn't.
Guy, don't sit on the equalizer, that is the lesson here.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that, but I think the idea was, okay, I'm gonna just try to kill him as fast as possible. I have enough health, I can tank it. As we know now, that's obviously not the case.
He was like, I'm that guy, I'm built different. These flames don't hurt me. They do.
I mean, he did stack a ton of MR, and he was doing well in the lane, but he wasn't ahead on golds.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess Perfect kind of just misjudging that one, and DuDu showing that the veterancy...
A less than perfect play.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is,
hey,
I guess.
This is a big lead for the DN Soup.
It's pretty huge.
DN Soupers, right? Big lead, big advantage. In a matchup where pretty heavily we expected KT to be favored. And yes, it's day one. Yes, you know, there's... Oh, the quest is gone again. Oh, no, it's back.
It's back. Every time we call it out, it disappears.
Oh, KT looking for something here.
Yeah, I mean, their wombo combo's great, right? But instead, they're going to get engaged on as aiming in a bunch of trouble. No real follow-up, but aiming is so low, and now Life is coming on in, and aiming, there's nothing he can do except run. Cuzz also only just running away, not really able to set anything up. So much for that wombo combo I was talking about. As Cuzz in a lot of trouble. The charm is going to hit here on Pollu. Nice double knockup at least, but they don't really have that much damage without their Yunara. And eventually Cuzz is going to go down. Perfect finally gets here, and BDD is still pretty healthy. But eventually, I think they're just too far ahead, and DNS will close out the fight in their favor.
I feel like KT lucky for aiming to even get out of that situation, but the problem is, he is just zoned so heavily from this Wukong. This is so much of your sustained damage, and he just doesn't get to play the game. Pyosik goes, you know what, I'm just going to send it, aiming's on the front line, commits to it, gets so much damage down, and even though the peel from Pollu is great, you're not saving the fight. You're saving your AD carry who can no longer fight, and you're trapped in a situation where, unfortunately, you're not able to escape. They do kind of manage to turn it around a little bit. They get a kill on a life in return, but it's still never favorable for KT. My only consolation is that it could have been worse, which is not really what you want to say after a fight.
Yeah, could have been much worse. It did feel like, you know, if a couple things came together and they were able to get a bit more momentum early on in that fight, maybe kill aiming straight out and then follow up from there. Could have been good, but instead...
Well, Clozer knows all about the bromentum.
He is a bro talent of, you know, some year, of 1 year, I guess. You know, he's got that at least a little bit under his belt. I don't know how official it is, but still counts, I guess. And 14 stacks on the Magi's already, especially on an Ahri.
Pollu, though. Pollu's a bro talent too.
Yeah, he is.
So, who does Degon support in this matchup?
You're right.
Who's Degon choosing?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one to answer.
Probably a matter of preference for the player, or maybe just the role.
Don't make him choose between the bros.
You know, Degon is an AD carry player. Very fitting. You know, I feel like that makes a lot of sense for Degon and his personality. I feel like maybe he would support the support in this case. You know, go with KT. I believe he also did predict KT, as did I, and you.
Yeah.
As of right now, those predictions not looking so good. And it's surprised new guest and Wadid, who did go for the DNS.
So Wadid and Wadid we haven't unlocked yet, apparently, according to the space.
It's like Mario and Luigi. I don't know, it's just... Oh, man. I'm excited to introduce our new guest on Saturday to you guys. I will actually be on the desk as well.
Wow.
Alongside of new guest.
Oh, TP coming in. They are committing heavily. This is Soul for the DN Soopers. If they can secure this, Infernal Soul would be massive here. You think how close Pyosik was to blowing up aiming in the last fight, add a bit of extra Infernal damage, and he would just be dead. So KT trying to find a way to navigate this. afraid of this choke point, and you can see why with the Rumble there.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good opportunity for DNS to shake off the rust from last year and show us they can do team fights much better. As of now, though, Life is going to be taking a huge amount of damage, gets pulled back and immediately goes down, but the Infernal Soul does go over to DNS, so
yeah,
a lot of space made by Life, you could say, and a big commitment from KT onto him, and so they just lose the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, you got the Pantheon support, not that big of a pickup overall, and the Malphite ult got 0 value, and this is kind of one of the things where, you know, we talked about the DN Supers, their composition kind of being a comp we would have seen last year, we've seen previously, but it works well in the Malphite because there's not that many easy targets. Everyone has mobility. He goes for Clozer. Clozer just ults away, not even having to flash the ult, and suddenly your best engage tool is gone. Perfect grabs Pantheon, cool. Then what? You lose the soul, you're just watching them. Not really a good pickup for KT, and DN Supers now with soul in hand, still 5,000, nearly 6,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, and as I was saying right before that fight broke out, we saw a lot of the issues from DN last year, where it really came from their inability to team fight and to play together as a team. Obviously, there have been some roster changes, and it is a new year, a fresh feeling coming into 2026. And I really hope that they kind of cleared up all those issues because they had tons of talent last year, but unfortunately, they really couldn't show it off all too well.
It felt like last year, the roster, it was some of the worst performances we've seen from a lot of these players in their whole career, and it felt like the team was worse than the sum of their parts. That's why it was so surprising, right? Yeah. We've seen teams struggle in the LCK before, it's nothing new, but our expectations were a lot higher at the start of the year than what came to be, especially considering how rough it was, how they went long periods winless, and, you know, it's hard to pin down exactly whose fault. I wouldn't say it was any individual's fault. It just really felt like the team wasn't working. And the fact that they still have 3 of those players with the new mid, new AD carry, things looking a lot better right now. Clozer, though, in trouble with KT collapsing.
Yeah, he is Ahri, but they've really done their work trying to corral this guy. As Life comes in, though, pretty early on, as Life will essentially die for the sins of Clozer. Although I'm not sure if he really had to.
Yeah, Life's
kind
like,
of an angle to
Life's like, I'll
right.
die for you. And Clozer's like, bro, I'm out like a minute ago.
I'm Ahri, level 16 with Flash.
Yeah.
I think I can handle this.
Well, he's just getting stuck in. We love to see it.
Yeah.
But now KT has a bit of position around the Baron area, but are they going to be able to go for it?
That was
he ulted.
Yeah, it was
he ulted and flashed.
It was a flash ult from Cuzz that essentially just got the flash out of Pyosik. So trading flashes there, tons of poke coming down onto aiming here with the equalizer.
Is that enough to stop Baron? Cuzz has no flash or ult, so him getting in the pit is really difficult. I think you could just stop Baron here, honestly, if I'm the DN Supers, and
yep, there you go.
Feel the same way.
Yeah, I didn't see the coach voice thing come through, but
now Cuzz has to walk around, which puts him at massive threat of being charmed or CC'd.
Yeah, Life is trying his best to zone him away. Not really doing all too well, though. Cuzz does have access to the pit, and now the engage goes in onto the Ahri. Clozer does get away. Pollu extremely low, as is Perfect, and the damage is coming in. Only the clone in a bit of danger as DuDu picks up that first kill. Cuzz and aiming, and Perfect all on their last sliver of health as the flash comes through.
There's a reset.
Clozer gets the one, is still on the chase here. As BDD by himself, 1v3, not looking so good. He has another equalizer here. DuDu gets that back, uses it again, and picks up another kill, and KT are totally routed.
Oh, the stun!
Oh, that was so close. Could have been another kill on top of it. Instead, DNS say, well, a very extended fight, but now we're going to take the Baron.
Yeah, once again, I'm in a situation where I'm like, this could have been worse for KT. It really looked like they were going to get clean aced in this situation, but it's still incredibly bad. And the DN Supers, the engage comes on a Clozer, but the peel is there. He's able to move backwards. Aiming's not able to get that much damage. A lot of time hitting the clone, can't move forwards. And then this damage that comes out from DuDu and Clozer is so threatening. And honestly, the point I was making is look at these low health bars. I thought this was going to be a clean ace, and they managed to just about get a couple of members out with Perfect and BDD surviving. But it's still dire straits for KT now. Baron going over to the side of the DN Supers. One thing to note as well, Baron is now with less gold. It's about half as much global gold, so instead of 300 each, it's 150 gold. Still a lot of money. Still the Baron buff, which the DN Supers are going to put to work. And it's 507 for Clozer. 22 stacks on that Medjayce. I mean, look at the items on Clozer, and look at the items on BDD. Like, how much AP does Clozer have? 621. How much AP does BDD have? Like 250?
Yeah, I was thinking like 280, maybe.
If that.
If that. I mean, he's very much behind. This is something you talked about when we first saw the draft, right? If they get behind, Aiming has to do so much of the heavy lifting in terms of damage. And I mean, I guess he's going to get the flash at a life, who does kind of flash on top of the wall and then get booped over to safety. Perfect, just taking the objective bounty up on the top side.
Think how much time it was taking for Aiming just to kill the Pantheon support. And that Pantheon support's been dying a lot, right?
Yeah.
He is a massive portion of this team's deaths. It's looking rough right now for KT, and they're trying to go for some cross-map angles, but really much coming to fruition there. Inhibitor tower picked up for DN SOOPers there, and it's more gold again in their pockets.
Yeah, I would just say that, you know, BDD, he's just really not going to be doing very much damage, and it's not like he had a poor game really at all. There was that one botched fight in the top river, and he did get pretty far behind from that, and obviously the snowballing the Medjais puts Clozer so much farther ahead. But really just the effect of the compositions, that they don't have an extra damage source, whereas DuDu is gigantic in this game as well. Yeah. And they've got him alongside of Clozer and Deokdam, obviously. As perfect. Has to be the front line for this team. As Pollu just gonna Hex Flash into half of his, more than half of his health being gone. So, not looking very good for him. At least he does have level 11 and his ult. But the poke is now coming in from the Corki, and the Elder Dragon is alive.
So much damage being put down, and not much in return from KT. Equalizer?
Yeah, they're just poking him out, and now they're going to go for the engage. Cuzz going to hit Clozer. They're desperately trying to take him down. They're not even going to get close, as Clozer just dashing on into everyone, takes out Aiming, and that is just going to be the end of the game. TP's going into the bottom lane, and DNS will take game number 1 here in our first series of the LCK Cup.
Yeah, Life chasing down BDD. We'll get flipped away. Maybe BDD can kill him before the Nexus dies. We'll see.
He's emoting.
Oh, man, he's taunting.
Get him, Life.
He's laughing.
Yeah, but as we did mention, that is going to be the end of game number 1. The Nexus is taken down, and the DN SOOPers, they come in with a new roster, a new name with the SOOPers, and